rise up. I see the top and I climb up. I came from the ashes, I rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I gotta go for the gold. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who, I gotta go for the gold. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up. I want it now, I gotta. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down.
6-0 in the first match of the second day of these Women's Military World Cup football action. South Korea was dominant, but now we say hello, bonjour, allo to those of you in the Netherlands, to those of you in France, and all over the world. I know it's a 9-hour time difference, so it's 4 a.m., so hopefully you went to bed about 8 or 9 o'clock and can join us for what should be some fantastic football between these two nations. I'm Alex Gould. Alongside me is U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson. And Shelby, it's good to be here with you. The fourth match of this tournament. Things are rolling along, but we have yet to see a close match. Yesterday, the United States beat Belgium 10-0, scored 7 goals in the first half, and then Germany and Ireland, two European nations over here in Washington State in Spokane. Germany dominated that match. They won it 3-0, and then as I mentioned, South Korea won 6-0 over Canada. So, these two European nations, two European militaries between France and the Netherlands, they know each other very well. What do you think we can expect in this one?
Well, like you said, we haven't had really a neck-and-neck match so far, so that's what I'm really hoping for. I'm hoping for an exciting match, a good play between the two teams here tonight to close us out on this beautiful day.
They're getting ready for the CISM anthem as well as the national anthem for France and the Netherlands. And it gives us a couple more seconds to talk, and this is as good a time as ever to shout out our two crews that are working so hard today to bring this action live to everyone. But we have the Hill Air Force Base, 2nd Audio-Visual Squadron out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And then we have the Joint Air Force Base, I want to make sure I get this correct, from Lackland and San Antonio, the 3rd Audio-Visual Squadron. But those two bases have come together to create one super audio-visual squadron to make sure that these matches get streamed. They're working really, really hard.
Absolutely. We are sister squadrons, the Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, 3 AVS, and the 2 AVS out of Hill Air Force Base. We are sister squadrons, and we are working hard to bring the nations, the people watching at home, the best product that you can see, just like ESPN, just like any sports network that you would watch to see the game here before us, just as we were seeing it.
This is the CISM national anthem, and then they're going to play the national anthems of the Netherlands and France.
the national anthem of France. Thank you. You may be seated. Let's give a round of applause to all the youth soccer players that watched out with our players today.
Alrighty, some beautiful national anthems there. The CISM to bring all the nations together, and then the French national anthem and the Netherlands national anthem. Going to read some starting lineups for you. The starting 11 for France in a 4-3-3 formation. The goalkeeper is Audrey Dupopech, and then we'll start from right side to left on the back line. Lissy Lachra is the right back for France, and then the right center back is Shuli Baskaro, and then the left center back is Shuli Mahreshul, and then the left back for France is Vivienne Boudot. And going into the midfield, the holding midfield, and the captain for the French is Melissa Godard. And then for the right midfielder for the French, it is Morgan Duporche. And then the left midfielder is Rachel Gorbose. The right wing is Christy Gavarvry. And then the center forward is Sarah Palassin. And then the left wing is, to round out the order for France in the 4-3-3, is Marion Bronvacht. And for the Netherlands, kind of a hybrid formation in a way, but they're in a 4-4-2. Goalkeeper for the Netherlands, for the Dutch, is Zoe Broekhoven. Then from right to left, you have Anna Palm. The right center back is Emma Verdasdank, is the right center back. The left center back is Armijn van der Veld. And then the left back is Maud Soekbal. The right midfielder is Daniela. And then the right center mid is Refke Darijer. And the left center mid is Mora Masaglia. The left mid is Liana van der Poel. And then you have the two strikers round out the 4-4-2 formation. Number 18 is Margriet Somsom. And then for France, or excuse me, the Netherlands, to round out the order as we start here, you have Bo Peters. So we are underway. Hopefully those names were okay for those of you in the Netherlands and France. This is a quick start for the French, right off the bat. So two European nations saw that yesterday. Both of these two military squads play with a lot of pace, Shelby. You can see it right away. Both nations are very quick. A lot of passion, a lot of pace, and they're trying to control possession as well as they can.
Well, you saw right when we first started off, it was already a breakaway for the French towards the Netherlands goalkeeper. It is off to a quick start.
And the big question is, will we see a close match? We've seen 3 blowouts so far. South Korea took them to the 41st minute to score their first goal, but then they scored in the 44th, as well as added time. They scored 3 goals in the first half against Canada, all within the last 5 minutes of the half, and then struck for 3 in the second half as well to win 6-0. Goal differential is big. That is the difference maker. If you're looking throughout the standings and throughout the rankings, you want to get 3 points, of course, first and foremost, but you want to beat your opponent pretty badly if you can because of goal differential.
And you know what? We saw that 3 different times. We saw those shutouts already. And I'm really, really hoping this isn't the same. I want to see a good match between the 2 European teams.
Throw in here for the French on the far flank. This is Sarah Palasin. Cross inside the 18. Nice deflection there for Aramine van der Veld. Off the head of a Dutch player. That was the Anna van der Poel.
Looks like a cross.
Another throw in for France here. This is Elizzy Lara throwing it in for the French. See if she wants to play it inside the 18 here. Christy Gavary switches sides of the pitch. Left-footed liner inside the 18. That was off the foot of Vivienne Boudot.
Looked like a collision there between 2 French players going for the ball.
Backline of the French.
So one of the things I'm noticing right away about the French is we've seen it with Germany and we've seen it with South Korea, the cool, calm collectedness of their passes with the back line. And the French is doing that.
Could be an opportunity here. So the French is trying to do it, but no one was on the backside. It was the right idea there for Sarah Palasin, but couldn't connect with her teammate and Christy Gavary over there inside the 18. I think in that situation there, Shelby, Palasin didn't think she had the angle on the keeper and Zoe Broekhoven.
It almost looks a little rushed, a little forced from the French right here early on.
I was actually going to say the same thing, but about the Netherlands. It seemed like a couple of their passes, just stringing together little passes in their defensive third, are not exactly precise, and you're going to need that against the French if you want to come away with 3 points. And just like that, like what you were talking about, the connection was not made on that pass. So that was Boudot trying to connect with Ron Vogt. because it is 4 a.m. in the morning, and 4:06 to be exact, back in Europe, back in the Netherlands and France. How much, Shelby, do you think that's going to play a factor into this match? And it's also much hotter here than it is in both the Netherlands and France. But we'll hold off 1 second. This is an opportunity for the French. This one's crossed in. Right foot liner deflected. It's still inside the 6. And then I believe a handball was called on France. But boy, was that a good opportunity for the French. How about that save by Zoe Broekhoven?
It really was a good opportunity, and you know what? I was almost thinking that there wasn't going to be a connection, but they made it happen and almost went in.
That was Christy Gavary who crossed it in, and it found the foot of Sarah Paulison. But Paulison was unable to get it in because of stellar goalkeeping by Broekhoven, who dove to her left to keep the game knotted up at 0-0. This is about the time we saw Germany score a goal against Ireland. Just comparing some of the European nations, Germany struck in the 9th minute yesterday in that second match of the day. But getting back to what we were talking about, how much do you think jet lag, how much do you think adjusting to the time zone? Because we're still only about 72 hours in. As this is a right foot try and a goal.
Wow, first goal.
A perfect pass inside the 18. No one cares about time zones on the French side of things. A perfect pass from Marion Brandvacht. And the first goal for the French comes by Morrigan Duporche.
Check out that nice, it's a push pass. It's not even a real tight shot. It's just nice and simple, easy into the back of the net.
So Duporche was able to finish on the near side, and that's actually where Zoe Broekhoven was set up. But she was still able to kind of slither it in there, just past an outstretched Broekhoven, who tried to stop it with her right foot. But the French, much like the Germans, what Germany did yesterday, they strike in the 9th minute of this match against the Netherlands. But that was all set up by Brandvacht. A perfect pass to find Duporche. France has their lead.
This is a very good movement between the French team around the field.
Another cross into the box. Right now, the Dutch are back on their heels. So France did win in 2016. They were the hosts then. They do have one gold medal, and that was in France. There's 8 countries that participated. Netherlands was one of those 8. They're searching for another gold.
This time without the home team advantage, of course.
Yeah, and you could see, too, when the games were held in Korea and Yeongyang in 2015, that the French were really starting to formulate a team. Before that, because in 2015 they got a silver. Before that, the best they did was another silver back in 2008, but it was a 7-year difference between those 2 silver medals, and they got their gold, their lone gold, in 2016. So trying to showcase here in Spokane, Washington, to a fellow European nation that they mean business here in 2022.
as we got to talking to the secretary of the CISM football committee, Mr. Blickman, Mr. Hen, he was telling us a little bit about how the Netherlands was really kind of what stemmed this women's football as a whole. One of the Dutch players came asking the question, why are there no military women's teams? And I think that's kind of what got the ball rolling when it comes to women's football in the CISM program. And it really started with a friendly game between the Netherlands and the United Kingdom. And it came all the way here today to them playing here in 2020 at the Military World Women's Cup.
It's something that doesn't really need to be said, but it is. The question was, of course, were the women not included already? But yeah, I think a lot of women who have now participated for the last 20 years are very thankful that someone from the Netherlands, a Dutch player, said, hey, why can't we have a team? We've got a lot of talented ladies. We have a lot of talented women who are ready to roll and ready to rock. And so, of course, like you were talking about, good group of people in the Netherlands, part of the military, that said, yeah, why are we not doing women's football? Why are we not having a Women's World Cup? A lot of calls were made, and then they did a couple of scrimmages in 2001. Didn't quite officially count CISM championships then, but in 2002, Canada raised their hands and said, hey, we'll host in Kingston, Ontario. It was Germany, Canada, the U.S., and Netherlands, so 2 European nations and 2 in North America. The U.S. wound up winning the gold. And Germany got the silver, Netherlands got the bronze. So it all started back in 2001, but the official first CISM Women's Military World Cup was in 2002 in Kingston. And they skipped 2003, and then it was held in the U.S. in 2004 between the same 4 nations. Then finally, in 2007, they added 2 more nations to the mix. That's when France joined. This is tied for the second largest tournament that CISM women's football has held. We talked about that in the previous match, but in 2018 in El Paso, Texas, 10 teams. Then it went down to 8 in Wuhan, China in 2019. Back up to 10 here in 2022. Everyone on the CISM committee hoping that maybe it'll expand to 11, 12, 14, 16.
CISM is open up to 140 different nations.
140 different nations, 30 different sports. This is just one of the 30. Boy, has it been fun to watch so far. It's women not only serving their countries, which is already tough within itself, but also playing out on the pitch. Good ball lofted, but the flag goes up. It's the AR2 over there, and offside on France. Also, too, we talk about the streams and talking about the 2 Air Force bases coming together for the audio-visual squadron. But a lot of other sports and a lot of other athletes in the military are watching this tournament because they're taking a look and seeing, hey, this could be the bar, right? There's 7, 8 camera angles. Pretty good production crew. I should say a great production crew. I think a lot of other sports are going to say, wait a minute.
We appreciate the CISM committee for coming, Mr. Stephen Denot for coming to us and asking for our services. And we just really want to push out the best product for these nations and these women who are working so hard to get here and to represent their countries and represent the game of soccer and football that we all love.
And speaking of Steve Denot, he's put a lot of this together. We'll see a nice package of him at halftime. Good video footage, just him talking about this tournament, how it came about, how exciting it is to be here. Good ball. Just too much on the through ball there for France.
Definitely a good look.
Porsche there was trying to hit Brandwacht on that try. Brandwacht was the one who got the assist the other way around to Duporsche back in the 9th minute. So Duporsche was trying to find Brandwacht to set her up for a goal herself. She said, listen, you helped me out, I'm going to help you out. That's what we do. Maybe an opportunity here for the Dutch.
I think that's a perfect play. I think that was a good judgment, passing it back to the goalie and letting the team reset and move forward.
But this is pretty much what we've seen through the first 3 matches. So much time left, just in the 19th minute here, but one team just dominating possession. And that is what France has done here. This is a good run on the far flank. Crossed into the box and then booted away. It's trickling up near the 70s for one nation, and that's what we've seen throughout the tournament. And I promise you, there's going to be, and even this match could wind up being a close match when it's all said and done. Because you never know in football what can happen. Things can change within a flash of a second, especially when you make adjustments at halftime. Right now, the French are controlling the tempo in this game. Right foot rocket. It was deflected, I believe. Yeah, the head referee says it's a corner kick, so the French will have a corner kick on the far side. This is Rachel Corbeau's to take the corner. She'll use the left foot here. No one is up short for the French, so likely going to play it into the 18, maybe inside the 6. Low liner, and that was miskicked that time by Corbeau, so that's an easy stoppage for the Netherlands. Another turnover. So smart that time by Duporsche. Played it back to the left back and Vivienne Boudot. And the flag goes up. It seems like right now, Shelby, just dissecting this match, it seems like the Netherlands has to get a little bit tighter in the middle. I mean, the French are doing a nice job of stringing together some passes. Feel a little bit quicker right now, playing with some more pace, but it does feel like the Dutch need to do a better job of closing some of the gaps in the middle.
Absolutely. You can see the strikers for the French just passing through those middle sections and the spaces that the Netherlands are leaving open.
It's a push from the back, and that's a clear foul there on Boudot. So Verdasdank decided to play it short, but again, Netherlands can't control possession for more than 5 or 6 seconds. This is a good ball. Flag stays down. Could be an opportunity here for the French. Paulison inside the 18, trying to find her teammate and Brandwacht. And the Dutch clear it. They can't for now. This is the goal scorer in Duporsche. Great pass, and there's the second connection for the French. That was all set up by Dupourche, who kept that play alive to get another French goal.
That's exactly what you want to see right there. Easy, small passes in front of the goal, and that's exactly what happened last time too. So I think that's really where the French excels, is these small passes right there in front of the goal post. Let's check it out.
So Paulison gets the goal there for the French, but how about, you take a look at that replay, Dupourche going against two defenders, keeping that play alive, and then the wherewithal to look up and see her teammate on the backside of that play, and Paulison to recognize. It's about 33 degrees Celsius. And so they want to make sure that these women who are working so hard out on the pitch get hydrated. And you also get a second here to talk things over. There's a lot to talk about on the Dutch side of things. I think the French right now got to be very happy with how they're playing, Shelby.
And really, these hydration breaks are necessary. They are vital to keep these ladies playing with it being that hot. And it's not that hot in those nations that are coming here, and for them to get used to that and their bodies to get used to playing non-stop for that long. And for the past 3 days, really, practicing, getting those hydration breaks is vital.
What do you think the Dutch are talking about here?
Getting those hydration breaks is vital.
What do you think the Dutch are talking about here? It's got us on one of the cameras here. I'm trying to see what camera we're at. One of the cameras has got us there. Nice, look at that. Get a nice tan here. It's sunny in the booth. But she's the more important one that you want to get on camera. It's a U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant, so I'm just listening to what she tells me. But for you got to think they're talking about a lot here. I mean, they have had troubles with this French attack.
Absolutely. It kind of looks like they are a little bit more punched in, like we were talking about, where the little center lines aren't as full for the French to be pushing through.
And for France, it's been close to picture perfect. I've used that phrase a lot, but that's what we've seen. We've seen what so far, still plenty of time, 26th minute, a lot of lopsided matches. French right now, unless the Dutch can string together something, just look to be too much. About 26 minutes in.
Dare I say it's going to be another shutout? I'm thinking it might be.
Plenty of time left. I know people in the Netherlands are saying, what are you talking about? We're in the 26th minute. But they've got to find some sort of rhythm, some sort of momentum. It seems like at times they've panicked a little bit with the ball at their feet. So I wasn't looking at the head referee there, but I believe advantage was played. So she was trying to allow the breakaway for the French there. But once the ball went past the touchline and out of play, went right back to the spot of where the foul occurred. The idea was right there by Boudreau, but hit it off the side of her foot. Tell you what, pretty tough to score from there, but you never know. Maybe it goes off the keeper's hand. So Corbeau's was just making sure that Brookhoven was still paying attention in front of the goal there inside the 6.
Absolutely, just testing out the goalie skills a little bit.
Good touch. That was a 3v1. And Boudreau was able to win it. Now they're switching sides of the field. Could be a shot attempt here. Instead, a cross and a goal. How about that connection for the French, but wait a minute. I believe offside was called. I think they're going to call this goal back. It is disallowed. It will not count. I'll tell you what, the French still get style points there, but they are not going to go up 3-0.
Absolutely, and it was the same thing that's happened for the first 2 goals. It's that cross in the middle and that slight touch right into the goalpost. So we're going to have to start looking out for that if the Netherlands wants to stop it.
That was Christy Gavary with a terrific pass there. You see the replay on your screen into Boudreau. Right when Boudreau saw that pass to the far side of things, inside the box to Gavary, immediate beeline to the goal for Boudreau, but a little bit too anxious there. She was just offside. Tell you what, this French team is looking like the French national team. I mean, they look very confident. And what I really love here, Shelby, I know you want to talk about it, is the fact that they're all moving without the ball at their feet. They're anticipating the next pass. They're anticipating the next run and the next play.
Absolutely. It's not easy. It's not an easy skill to learn. So for these women to be picking up on that skill, keeping it up, and moving without the ball, even if they're tired, is really vital. And that's really what causes the stringers of passes that are happening here on the field.
I want you to talk about that some more. In practice, how often are you playing in ball, whether it's a scrimmage amongst your own team or just kind of practicing? How often are you practicing, all right when the ball's away from my feet, I have to be in a spot to try and set up the next attack, to try and set up the next goal?
All the time. I think it's the practice like you play, learning to move and be a position of helpfulness for these teammates who have the balls. And even when you just pass the ball and moving instead of standing around and catching your own breath, you know you have to help your teammates by moving to be available to get the ball, defend the ball, or get it forward to help others and score the goal is really, really key. And like I said, a very hard skill to learn.
It's good defense over there. Well, you were talking by Mount Soekbal, the left back for the Netherlands. They're going to need that physicality. Kind of pushing a little bit, but that's okay. The referee's going to allow you to be pretty physical. Use it to your advantage. So Soekbal, the left back, did a nice job over there. Good ball through the middle. This is what we're talking about. It's good recovery that time by the Netherlands. That was Margriet Somsom that time. That is the center forward for the Netherlands. Was able to stop that attack, but the French are doing a nice job on both flanks, but also doing a nice job like this, just running through the middle, splitting the gaps, drawing the foul like that. And this is going to be a free kick right around on this American football field. We call that the 20-yard line. This is about 12 yards outside the box. Call it 13.
Let's check out the replay here. And a trip.
That was cleats to the shin. They're going to call that every time. Free kick going to be taken by Corbos. Head referee pushing one of the French players out of there. 4-woman wall here for the Netherlands. Now make it a 3. One's going to mark. So here's Corbos. Going to take a shot into the wall, and nice play there by Broekhoven to not allow that to be a corner. So Corbos was aiming for goal there. She was trying to bend it.
She really was, and I was hoping for a deflection, and then another little nice push pass into the goal.
We saw a shot from Corbos earlier. She is not bashful. She is not afraid Good switch here for the French. This will be a throw-in. Going to take a look at a replay here. So that was not a foul that was called. Oh, no. So this is what we're looking at. Boy, refs missed that. That should have been a handball inside the box. That would have been a penalty kick there for the French. So the Netherlands got away with one right there. Any thoughts there, Shelby?
She was trying to push it through those spaces like we were talking about and get it to her other teammates here in the center and far field.
Any thoughts on the handball?
You know, these refs, they can't see everything. We know that. We've played it. We know that they can't see everything. So this was a lucky one for the Netherlands to get this missed.
Good dispossession there. A rare French turnover, but right away the speed that was from Godard. French woman hits the deck out on the pitch. It's a French player down. Immediate foul called. That was Mahrechou. Flag stays down, and another goal for the French. That was picture perfect. And that is Dupourche again. Her second goal set up by Pallison. We saw Dupourche set up Pallison on the last goal. How about the connection between these two?
That's exactly what we're talking about. Them through balls, perfect.
That is just so perfect. And then you see the curvature on the shot. That's not easy to do either. Dupourche understanding that if she doesn't kind of fade that away from the keeper in Broekhoven, that might go right to Zoe Broekhoven, the keeper.
Right, and Alex, she didn't boot it, right? She took a nice, easy pass into that side of the goal, and that's really the best decision you could have done at that point in time.
Just spectacular. That's one of those balls that's kind of starting at the keeper, Broekhoven, then going away from her slightly, but then has enough curvature and enough curve to come back to the goal and into the back of the net. That was one of the best plays I think we'll see all tournament in that connection between those two, and Pallison and Dupourche. And also the shot from Dupourche was spectacular. So 3 first-half goals. I'm not sure anyone will beat the United States. 7 first-half goals in the first match of the tournament. We'll see if anybody can get the lucky number 7 or get to 8. But the French right now trying to press for 4. No whistle. Good hustle from Ron Vogt. Left-footed try, and that crunches off the crossbar. I believe it hit the crossbar of the field goal post as well, so that is out of play.
What a nice shot, though. That was a rocket.
Taking a look at the replay of this last shot attempt from France. Wait to see this attack build. Another good through ball by Brunvach. This is Duporsche. Left foot, right foot, pinged around inside the 18. Good deke there as well. Ball played out wide. Into the 18 now, just out. Duporsche, she may take one here. We'll see. Instead, going to stutter step and juke her defender. Foot skills. Now a shot attempt is going to fly from Boudreau. And Boudreau, after that shot attempt, is kind of kicking herself a little bit. It's got to be deflating, Shelby. It's got to be tough. I mean, we've seen these matches. It's got to be tough when the French strike in the 9th minute. They score that first goal, get one into the back of the net. You're already, kind of playing backs against the wall a little bit. And it's just with this possession from this French team. We'll see. I'm not sure they're going to get up to 10. Maybe they will. But this is one of the most skilled teams we've seen so far. The tournament is young. There is still a lot of time left, a lot of time for these teams to grow and get better. But just taking a look at the way the French play, their style, it's one of the most impressive we've seen so far.
Well, it's almost, it's the excitement, the thrill of coming to CISM, traveling all this way, getting to stay at Fairchild Air Force Base, meeting these other nations. It really probably dwindles down when you get to your game and you're already losing just in the first half. I think that can really take a toll on a team, and I'd love to see the Netherlands come back and score a couple goals against the French.
Good ball out wide again. Boudreau, I don't think she's going to shoot from there, and then the connection was not made. Not on the same page with Brunvach.
But what I do notice about that play, the girls know. They look at each other and they, oh, okay, that's where you were going. I got it next time. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the communication that really makes this happen in the future, is just saying, okay, I see where you were going. Next time I'll make that run.
We haven't been told how long this French team has been put together and how often they've practiced. I think we can both agree, and a lot of fans watching, both here in Spokane and on the stream, that this French team is pretty familiar with one another.
It definitely reminds me of the U.S. team with that chemistry. I think that they're kind of working out some kinks, a few things like we just saw not too long ago. The connecting passes were just not making it to each other, but overall, they're definitely knowing where each other is going to be and where to pass it to.
About to get into the 44th minute here. 7:42 local time, 4:42 in the Netherlands and in France. It's probably some people, I know there's some people that are staying up to watch this in both countries. There's probably some people that are close, maybe 5 a.m. wake-up call for work. Tell you what, in France, they're going to be having a 5 a.m. party, seeing this score.
Absolutely. What a nice thing to wake up to in the morning.
I believe a handball was called there.
Yeah, I think so too.
You can just see right there how quickly the French go. It's the ball's being put down and it's immediate. There's no stoppage with this French military team. You can see on one of those last passes, the head coach for France, Marc Moufra, is kind of shaking his head because he knows how good this French team is. So anytime they make a little mistake, they'll get on them a little bit. Because he also knows, too, that when you have South Korea in your group, that matchup is going to be something special between these two nations. He knows you got to play close to a perfect match. This is a right foot rocket that goes wide of the mark.
I believe that game's on the 20th between South Korea and France. 3:30 p.m. local time. I'll be excited to see that match as well.
Yeah, pencil that one in. That is going to be a dangerous matchup between two dangerous teams. Both so skillful. A lot of people anticipating Germany and the U.S., of course. And then we're not sure about Mali. We've not seen Mali in the Women's World Cup before, Military World Cup. So they're going to showcase what they can do in a couple of days. We'll see Cameroon for the first time tomorrow. So the two African nations got a couple days to watch, to scout. So take a look at that schedule for tomorrow. Belgium versus Germany, and Cameroon versus the U.S. And the Netherlands will play again on the 14th against Canada at 3:30, and Mali, for their first time ever in CISM Women's Football, the Military World Cup, will take on South Korea. What a half it was for the French as they lead the Netherlands 3-0, an absolutely dominant first half outing by France. So we have a really nice package here that our crew has put together coming up. We take a look. Steve Denote, who is president of the U.S. for CISM, he's the one who's helped do all this. He's the sports secretariat. And Matt Hester, our very own Matt Hester, who's been working really hard. Matt Hester caught up with him today and talked about how CISM and women's sports can foster friendship between militaries. Take a look.
Now, the fact that this is the first tournament with 10 teams for women is huge because it just shows you the progression of women's sports in the military. So from a CISM perspective, what I hope all the countries are able to do is mingle with one another, learn their cultures, learn their ideals, learn, what it takes to be in their respective military. Especially women in CISM is still a growing, evolving program. And we want as many women programs to continue to develop in the way that women's football and other women's sports have been developing. This mill-to-mill engagement is very valuable. And for us, it's a very nice, soft diplomacy that we're able to, show that, there is friendship through sport. I mean, otherwise, when can we get all these nations together? And that's what we really, at the end of the day, want to do, is spread friendship. No, the fact that this is the first tournament.
This my time to shine. Everybody gather round. I'm the new kid in this town. Let me lay it on the mic. This my time to shine. Na 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 na. Whoa. Na 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 na. This my time to shine. Let's kick back, enjoy the ride. My advice is don't think twice. Everyone around the world, look at me, I'm fine. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na. Whoa. Na 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 na. This my time to shine. I'm shining. People, you are with me now. I'm not here to play around. Let me show you what I am. This my time to shine. All together one more time. Ring my bell and let it chime. Everyone around the world, look at me. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na. Whoa. Na 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 na. This my time to shine. I'm gonna tell ya. I'm gonna tell ya. This is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya. I'm gonna tell ya. This is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya. I'm gonna tell ya. This is about me. I'm worth the wait. I'm gonna tell ya. I'm gonna tell ya. This is about me. I am worth the wait. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. May. Na 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 na. Whoa. Na 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 na. This my time to shine.
want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now and I ain't never gonna back down. I am no regular citizen. Do you understand what you're witnessing? You cannot tell what the difference is. I want it all and I'm winning it. I do not care about opinions. Time to make a few decisions so I can take a position. I'ma go get it, I'm punching and kicking. I keep on moving, they out for me. Just do it and stop at a talking G. I'm not expressing no modesty. I can't see nobody stopping me. If there's a problem, I gotta solve it. Straight to the top, I can't see myself falling. I gotta grab it, there's no time for stalling. Number one stunner, don't have other options. Now I'm fired up. I'm sorry, brother, your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. I came from the ashes, I rise up. Rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up, I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up, I want it now, I gotta rise up. Rise up, I want it now, I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I gotta go for the goal. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I gotta go for the goal. I need to switch up the mode. I'm gonna win on my own. I'm in a whole nother zone. I reached the pinnacle. I don't have time, this is critical. It's time to finish you. I don't care who I just did it to. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. I want it now, and I ain't never gonna back down. Said I'm fired up. I'm sorry, your time's up. I see the top and I climb up. Came from the ashes, I rise up. Rise up, rise up. I want it now, I gotta rise up.
Everybody gather round. I'm the new kid in this town. Let me lay it on the mic. This my time to shine. Na 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 na. Whoa. Na 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 na. This my time to shine. Just kick back, enjoy the ride. My advice is don't think twice. Everyone around, give me a fight. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. Nay. Na 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 na. Whoa. Na 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 na. This my time to shine. I'm shining. People, you are with me now. I'm not here to play around. Let me show you what I am. This my time to shine. All together one more time. Ring my bell and let it chime. Everyone around the world, look at me. This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be bright, be loud, be you, behold the one that you've been waiting for. Nay.
Ireland by this exact score, 3-0. There are some substitutions here, and we will get you them once we know who has subbed on and who has subbed off. Franny Prony, that's who has the ball. That's a new player for France. Right foot cross. Just outside the 18, left foot laser. That field goal is good, but that is well high of the mark.
Although high, first few seconds of the second half, and they're already dominating the attacking field for France.
The Dutch did not sub anybody on to the pitch. The player that came out for Prony was number 15, Christy Gavary. And we've talked to a lot of the coaches, Shelby, especially when it's lopsided like this. Not to say the Netherlands and the Dutch can't come back, but you want to get some fresh legs in there. A, it helps to get fresh legs, but B, it's a long tournament.
Absolutely saving legs, because this is only the first game, right? They want to have enough energy, enough time, and less injury for the next games coming forward for the next 10 days.
So Tiffaine Brissonnet checked in, an OR1 for France, checked into the match, and she is in place of Dupourche. So Dupourche surprisingly gets pulled off the pitch. I'll tell you what, she did in one half what a lot of players would like to do in this tournament, with 2 goals and an assist. And also checking in for the French was Pauline Cousin, and she came on for number 14. And that number 14, of course, is the captain in Melissa Godard. So we should be up to date on the French substitutions. Netherlands kept the same players, same 11 on the pitch here for the second half. French have it on the far side, see if they want to switch sides of the pitch and play through the middle here. So a free kick here for France, just outside the 18. Direct shot, and that's going to be easily stopped by Broekhoven.
Direct shot to the goalie.
So that is shot number 12 for France, their first shot attempt and first on frame here in the second half.
That looks like a yellow card on the Netherlands player.
So our first yellow card of the match. That's going on number 7 for the Netherlands. That's Danielle van der Velde. That was almost a handball inside the 18 there for the Netherlands. I don't know about you, Shelby, but I'd like to see the Dutch put some more pressure on the ball on the defensive third for France. Like when the back line has it, I'd like to see them crash a little bit more, maybe put some pressure, maybe force a bad pass.
Well, you can see there's well enough space for their defenders to kind of move the ball around. There really is zero pressure for them, so I agree having at least a little bit of tenacity up there in the attacking half.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of the Dutch players are standing right around the center circle, right around the middle of the pitch, and so it just allows the back line to hold the ball, waste some time, and see if anybody's going to make a run to boot one down the pitch.
It almost makes me wonder, are they nervous? Are they holding back in case France goes forward, or they, is it that scared of them kind of breaking through?
All the space in the world. Is it going to be enough? It is. Kept in beautifully that time. That was the substitute in Prony. Things like that. Little mistake. Turning it over right outside the 18. Skill moves here. Inside, just outside the 6. Right foot rocket. It's deflected. What a save by Broekhoven.
That was a great move, too. Juked out the defender very easily.
That shot attempt was one of the goal scorers in Paulison.
Let's check out that fancy footwork there we just saw.
Another shot and another save there by Broekhoven. Boy, she had to work that one as well. She ranged to her left. You saw that first save there on your screen. Oh, and that last attempt, that was well outside the 18. Well, Broekhoven had to work and move to her left to make the save. Mount Soekbal has impressed me, the left back for the Netherlands. Very physical, and you talked about nerves. It doesn't seem like to me she has been too nervous out there in that left back role. Very physical and has not been afraid to try and push some of these French forwards off the ball. Haven't been a lot of bright spots for the Netherlands in this match, no doubt about it. I think they would say the same thing. But Soekbal has been one, and the flag goes up, offside.
Well, like you were talking about here, the French has pressure on the defense here of the Netherlands, where I can't say the same the other way around.
And that's what I'm talking about. You see Soekbal is well outside her mark in that left back roll, and this is pinged around the 18, just outside the 6, finally taken in by Broekhoven. But that's what I'm talking about. The one aggressive defender we've seen on the back line for the Netherlands, who clearly is not scared to play against anyone, is Soekbal. And she's been stellar on the defensive side for the team in orange and black. It's just so unique. See, it's just with the goals right there, with the uprights for American football. Of course, this is an American football field. Playing the traditional football. And in case anybody wanted to know on this stream, you got 10 minutes left to get to the concession stand here if you're hungry. Or for Shelby, if you need a Red Bull.
Hey, I got my Monster. I'm feeling good.
Got your Monster? Okay, you switch brands, though.
I guess that's another thing I didn't really think about. I haven't been overseas, but do their fields have the American football lines on them. So this might be another thing that they're not used to playing with all of these different markings on the field. And it may be a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I would say that not too many American football fields overseas, so definitely 100%. I think you're right. The markings having to get used to where out of play is past the touchline. Netherlands on the attack here, and well, one of the back line members there for France, that was Julie Pasquarot, who was waiting for the keeper and Audrey Dupopert to try and come get the ball. That's why she was pointing out with the right hand, but Dupopert was staying back. Good interception there. Talking about American football. That was like a cornerback reading the pass. Beautiful pass there from Corbeau's. One-on-one with the keeper into the back of the net for Fanny Prony, who just checked in at the half. Set up wonderfully by Corbeau's, who gets the assist. Let's take a look at the screen. Let's take a look at this replay. French perfection from these two. That is a counterattack right there, Shelby, at its finest. Of course, we have the goal score there, but that is set up all because of the counter chance and Corbeau's, who's able to get that to Prony. And then Prony, anytime there's a one-on-one with the keeper, is able to wait out Brookhoven to put one into the back of the net.
And you can see Brookhoven was upset over that one. She sat on the ground there for a little bit. I'd hope she's not getting disappointed or head down about this. I think it really is up to your teammates to help this not happen in the future.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of it may be frustrated and getting down because the back line has not helped her out.
Exactly.
And the French now have at least 13 shots, about 10 or 11 on target. This has been a clinic. If there's anybody watching at home who want to mimic the style of a stellar team, take a look at the way this French military team plays. So now 5:50. France just joining us in our terrific crew. Sun start time 8:15 p.m. as that's going to be a foul called on the Dutch. That is going to go against Liana Vanderpool. But if you're wondering how we got here, it was 3 first-half goals by the French. It's a goal in the 9th minute for France. It was Morgan Dupourche. She scored the first, then she set up the second to the center forward and Sarah Paulison. And then Paulison set up Dupourche for the third. Dupourche got subbed in at half, and then this lady with blazing speed, keepers out. Prony didn't have an angle. That was actually a nice job by Brookhoven to be decisive and force the corner, at least allowed the back line to reset and get ready for this corner kick. But we called Morgan Roberts the cheetah for Team USA. Boy, I'll tell you what, there's some speed and some wheels there for Fanny Prony. Far. If you want to look at little things that a couple players can work on, Corbeau's has been a little short on some of the corner kicks, and a foul's going to be called there on the Dutch. And maybe it's because in this sport, that's what the French are. Good touch. Not enough. Good closeout that time defensively on the back line for the Netherlands. That was Vanderveld. And you know, Boudreau didn't want to pick up a second yellow, and she picked up the ball immediately, threw it in, without even thinking twice about it.
She learned her lesson for sure.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. CISM's all about friendship through sport, but one thing you don't think about is, friendship and competition sometimes don't mix, right? They're getting a little testy here, trying to get the win. But I think after all is said and done, these teams are going to be a lot closer than they
Big
would have been.
turnover and a monster mistake. That time, that was completely on Brookhoven herself as France adds a fifth. We keep talking about it, but indecisiveness and not just booting the Dutch. And that's a goal from another substitute who just checked in about 8 minutes ago in Anissa Belkacemi. And Belkacemi says thank you. She got the ball right at her feet and finished on the near post.
And she was happy, that's for sure.
That was a goal in the 70th minute.
And this is going to be the hydration break here.
Anissa Belkacemi.
Looks like we're up to 15 shots on the goal for the French and 1 shot for the Netherlands.
Trying to see what camera we're at this time. There we go. There's our boy over there. Nice. Guys are working hard.
Here with the sun beaming in on us, we're feeling just as hot as the players on the field.
Alex Gould, hey, we're not working as hard as them. For Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson, really appreciate you all joining us, whether it's 5:30 in the morning in the Netherlands or France or anywhere around the world. Maybe you're here in Spokane. You're at home. We appreciate you guys joining us. These women work so hard for their nations, and they work pretty hard on the pitch, Shelby.
Absolutely, and I think the community of Spokane is so welcoming, and they have really welcomed these nations, these teams, these girls, and have been coming here to this free event, watching, and you can tell everybody in the stands here is really having a great time watching these players that they wouldn't normally see live and in person.
Yeah, Union Stadium seats 4,500. Haven't gotten that yet. That's okay. Don't need 4,500 for there to be a good turnout. A game between the U.S. and Belgium yesterday. And, of course, we talked about it earlier. It's going to be a pro-U.S. crowd, as it should. You're here in Spokane, Washington. Makes total sense. The U.S. is the host nation.
At halftime, we had the Eastern Washington Surf Soccer Club come play a little scrimmage or so in between the plays. And you know what? That just shows these teams have even more amazing players to look up to, and they're here still watching and getting inspired by these women serving their country and also playing the sport that they love as well. And it doesn't just end after college. It doesn't just end after high school. You can play on and not have to go super professional to keep playing the game that you love.
Another turnover by the back line, and this trickles. So Prony's finding the ball at her feet a lot. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of young girls and women, ladies that are watching. There's a lot of young men that are watching. They're inspired by the way that these women serve their nation, serve their country, and come out here and compete. It's been a joy to watch, been a joy to cover. But you saw on your screen there, too, you were given a really good tidbit. That was Jutta Kippers, the head coach for the Netherlands. She's from Amsterdam. In the military police. Another opportunity. Is it going to be number 6? And it is. A left foot laser past Brookhoven.
She's looking defeated there on the goal.
And it looked like that was Tiffen Brissonnet. And I'm assuming that Brissonnet just checked in. I think that's who it was. Let's take a look again if we can see the number there.
That was a goal in the 74th minute by number 6, Tiffany Brissonnet.
Yeah, so Tiffen Brissonnet, who just must have checked into the match. a substitute for France, makes her presence felt immediately.
Absolutely. It looks like
Didn't
every
waste
one
any
of the
time.
exactly every one of the French players is getting a taste of the cake.
Didn't waste any time.
Look at that movement.
Tell you the backline members for France, they have not been tested much, if at all, in this match. But they look comfortable, right? When they finally are tested in a spot like that, they go a couple of passes back to the keeper and get it out of there.
Definitely the vision. You can see their heads swiveling back and forth, checking out who's open and what's the best play for this team.
So we've seen a 10-0 victory, a 3-0 victory, a 6-0 victory, and the French in the 76th minute as a player's down for the Dutch. That looks like it's number 7. That is Van der Velde, who's down over there, getting tended to by the trainer. But we have not seen a close affair yet. And I promise you we will. But when it's all said and done, there will be a match that's decided by 1 goal. That I can assure you of. Let's get a little icy hot on there. Trying to see if she's good to go for the last 13 plus minutes.
Well, you know what? These are the first games, and I can't imagine anybody's going to be on their absolute A game for the first games of this tournament. So as the tournament goes on, I think that we're going to see these teams get better and better as they practice, as they learn, as they connect together here in Spokane, Washington.
That's the tough part, though. You do get 4 matches, or you get 5 matches automatically, but you get 4 matches, right, where you can compete in group play and get the chance to play for the gold medal, maybe the bronze medal match. But it's not easy to sit there and realize, hey, we're down 6-0, could lose 6-0, could lose by more. Maybe you put one in the back of the net. But understanding that then if you want a chance to play for the gold medal match, you need the French to lose, and you need the French to lose by a lot.
Oh,
that
wow.
looked like a clear foul, and that's one of those where that could have drawn a card. I mean,
Not even on the ball at that point.
yeah, not allowing Samson to try and get through there at all whatsoever. And that was Pascaro. Pascaro was just all over there on that attempt. So free kick here on the near side. This will be Masaglia. Little deke there. Player hits the deck inside at the 18. No call. And now you got to be really careful if you're the Dutch here. It's a 4-on-4, and it's a foot race. How about the speed? A foul called and a yellow card immediately. That is a player, though, for the Netherlands, you cannot lose in this tournament. You can't. You're going to win some matches coming up here. You need Sootball to be able to go. And kind of a veteran play to make sure that she could sense that the momentum was on the favor of the French. But that's a player you can't lose.
Absolutely.
Left foot cross, looking for number 7. Off the head of Masaglia. Now can the Netherlands counter? Not enough on that touch pass, though.
I think this is the most yellow cards we've seen so far in the tournament.
I think so, too.
This is a rough game.
I think you're right on that. Ricochets right to a player for France on the far side of the pitch, and now a player for the Netherlands goes down. That was on a palm. A right back for the Dutch. You got to think, too, a lot of players are cramping up. It's tough. The Netherlands, I'm trying to think, have they made a substitution in this match? I'm trying to look back. Have the Netherlands subbed? So they had 1 substitute. 22 subbed in for number 7. So Van der Velde came off, which means that 22 is coming in for the Dutch. That's Rihanna Udayans. So Udayans came in. This happened about 3 or 4 minutes ago, but that's been the only substitution for the Netherlands that we've been told of. Take a look at those shots, 16-1. Taking a look at shots on goal for France. Actually, we have different markings here in the booth. We got 19 shots to 16 on goal. So France with a corner kick here. They want lucky number 7. United States have been the only team so far to get past 7. They had 7 in the first half. Right foot and a header. Absolute perfection as Boudreau is shaken up here, making sure that she's okay. Her teammates are saying, get up, you're fine. Boudreau with the header after a critical cross inside the 18. Boudreau in the right spot. Take a look at that. A wonderful ball.
Perfect.
Got down. Talk about that. Break that down, Shelby.
You know what? Making sure that there's a body part on the ball is critical. A lot of these players, they know that any part of the body that you can get on the ball, and having that header right there in the goal box with that many people in there and the goalie being as tenacious as she has been, that's brave. And you know what? It turned out well for her.
Have to credit the pass by Tiffany Brissonnet. Brissonnet, who scored the goal in the 74th minute when she came on, got the assist to Boudreau. I mean, that ball into the box, it's hard to teach that, Shelby. I mean, you can practice that as much as you want. To do what Brissonnet did, coming off the bench to score a goal and then set up the goal by Boudreau.
And that's the advantage of bringing new legs to the field, right? Giving them a chance to show their skills and fresh legs on the team.
Actually, it looks like our crew is letting us know that Belkacemi was the one who's getting credited for the assist. So we got to give credit where credit's due. Belkacemi with a beautiful ball into the box. And Boudreau with an acrobatic way to head the ball. It's almost off the back of her neck. I'll tell you what, too, we say it all the time. You can't really teach too much. Maybe you can a little bit, but winning the 50-50 ball, Shelby. And the French have gotten a touch on everything. They have won, it feels like, every single 50-50 ball.
It's that tenacity. It really is.
And there's a reason they're called 50-50 balls, because a lot of times it winds up 50% on one side, 50% on the other. If you were marking down 50-50 opportunities in this match, that was a bad pass there. If you're marking 50-50 opportunities, I feel like the French have won 95% of them.
I think that's about a pretty good estimate there. They just seem to be coming at the ball with a harder passion to get a body part on the ball like we talked about.
So Anna Palm, I believe, if I heard the PA announcer here, is coming off the pitch for the Dutch. Coming onto the pitch here, number 11. Get to that in a moment. Cross, another chance. Boudreau wants it with the left foot. It was saved by Brookhoven.
Wow. That was a good save. Like that pass, that hit, that connection was perfect, and the save was even more perfect.
Taking a look at this replay again.
And a clear out by that defender is just what they needed to make sure that the ball was not going to go back in.
That was Fani Proni with the cross. It was splendid. Now another one. And a chance, a header. How about a double header? From one head to the other, into the back of the net. You know what's better than 7, Shelby, is 8.
Just 2 away from U.S. Yes, U.S.'s score yesterday.
This is one of the best replays we're going to see all tournament long. Wait till you see this cross and then the double header here. There's the cross in, one head, doink to another. And credited with the goal for France is number 5, Julie Pasquarot, and she must have checked in not too long ago. Actually, no, Pasquarot was already on there. She started as a right center back, so Pasquarot gets the goal.
And we know why she started, for reasons just like this.
Clinical. That's the best word to describe this French military unit. They are going to be tough to beat.
Number 5's getting real aggressive there on the French defense.
We're not going to make statements yet on the best team we've seen, because I'd say if there is a best team, it's a 3-way tie between the United States, South Korea, and France. I don't know. This French team might be the most technical team we've seen.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to say. In terms of scoring, obviously we know our first 3 games, we know that the best ones were U.S., Germany, and France. But we'll see what happens.
So 87th minute, 3 to go plus additional time plus stoppage. There's been 3 statements so far. No, let's say 4 statements. Germany winning 3-0. And they probably could have put more to the back of the net. And another turnover. Prony all alone with the keeper, and Brookhoven stutter step and a wait and a kick save and a beauty that time by Brookhoven, who is not happy with her back line. And that's the right response.
Absolutely.
She has to get into them a little bit, because it almost felt like that possession right there, giving up in that sense. I know you're down 8-0. It's really tough, but, I mean, give your keeper, Brookhoven, a little breather there.
Absolutely, and for her to have a save on a 1v1 with the goalkeeper and a forward, that is phenomenal.
Prony was stunned that she didn't finish there, and now there's a little pushing and shoving between the Dutch and the French here. 88th minute.
It's looking like...
And you know what? I love the passion. It's just the friendship through sport first and foremost, forever and always. And now you get a big shove down. This could be a red card. That was just silly. And only a yellow given. Boy, that was a blatant shove that time from Pasquarot. I don't know if we have that on a camera or on a replay, but that was a really bad shove. That was so blatant and obvious. Pasquarot's lucky she didn't get a red card here. You can't get a red card, 89th minute. Now we got another player hitting the deck. So I love the passion, but boy, let's take a look at this again. This is just so blatant. And maybe a little bit of a dive there at the end. But it's a clear push.
Oh, wow, yep, things are getting a little bit aggressive here on the field. And it's exciting, it is. But let's hope that these players can keep the injuries from happening here on the first game of the tournament for these both these teams.
I'm just going to say, maybe there was a little bit of a dive at the end, but that is very risky there for Pasquarot. I understand there's a lot of emotion, as there should be, and now you're getting another push here. These teams are getting a little chippy in Spokane, the word we like to use in the States a lot. But Pasquarot's got to be careful. You can't lose her. She's so valuable as that right center back.
And one more yellow card, and she has to sit out the next game.
Yeah. To do that right in front of the ref, too, is a little bit silly. So approaching 90 on the clock. Now we're going to wait and see how much additional time we're going to get.
We're going to have at least 2 minutes of additional time.
So 2 minutes of added time, 2 minutes of stoppage here. This one's been over for a while. The French, one of the best clinical teams in this tournament. And if you want to pencil in a matchup between them and South Korea, two teams who clearly have played together, play year-round, who are so familiar with one another, that's a match that I don't think is going to end in a blowout. As France, maybe not done yet, as you get a goal kick.
Tomorrow we have Belgium and Germany. We get to see them, and then for the first time, Cameroon and the U.S. play tomorrow at 7 p.m., so that'll be exciting. Tune in tomorrow for those games, and we'll be here to bring you all the action.
So Belgium gets a 3:30 start time. Again, Germany gets a 3:30 start time for the first time, so that'll at least give people in Germany a chance. Maybe 12:30, maybe a little bit easier to watch. Stay up, drink some coffee, get some caffeine in you.
An intercept by the Netherlands.
And then also Cameroon, like you said, Shelby, for the first time. We will see them in Group A, as well as the United States, coming off their 10-0 victory of Belgium. So after today, when you take a look at the rankings, when you take a look at the standings, 3 points for Germany and the United States, and then 3 points for South Korea and France. And there is the final whistle.
What do you think about that, Alex? That was probably the most exciting game, although was a shutout. I think the passion that we saw on the field was very exciting to see for both teams, and I'm glad that we don't have too many injuries to report here for the two teams, Netherlands and France.
I'll tell you, it was exciting for the French. Let's say that. This is going to be a tough team to knock off. Again, we were talking about this earlier, Shelby, but you want to pencil in when France takes on South Korea. That's the second to last match in pool play, and we don't know yet. We haven't seen Mali play, of course, but Shelby, that could set up the winner. Drama on the final day to try and play for the gold medal.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what Cameroon, I'm excited to see what Mali, what they both bring. Those are the two teams that we haven't seen just yet, and I'm excited. They scouted out some of these players, and maybe they have some type of strategy to come out hard and play against these teams that have already had a chance to play. But we will see. We will definitely see.
And then as for Germany and the United States, if you want to take a look at two teams on Group A who could potentially be playing to get to that gold medal match, well, that match is under the lights here in Spokane at Union Stadium, 7 p.m. on July 15th. So as we were just talking about the rankings, talking about how everything's lined after the first 2 days, you take a look here, and the United States and Germany with 3 points each, 2 wins. They play each other on the 15th. I've not seen Cameroon, Ireland, and Belgium, both 0-1, and then France and South Korea. They looked as good as anyone I think we'll see in this tournament.
Definitely some great teams in Group A and Group B, and I'm excited to see which ones are going to make it to the gold championship.
So Belgium, Germany at 3:30 local time tomorrow. That's a 12:30 start time in Belgium and Germany. And then Cameroon versus the U.S. under the lights here in Spokane. Those two will play each other at 7 o'clock. And for Cameroon, they're also in an 8-hour time difference. So that's going to be about 3 in the morning in Cameroon. But again, we appreciate you joining us. I know these women out on the pitch appreciate you joining us. For U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson, I'm Alex Gould and our terrific crew. We say so long from Spokane. We will see you tomorrow.
This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be Bucky, I'll be you. Behold the one that you've been waiting for.
Cameroon. But again, we appreciate you joining us. I know these women out on the pitch appreciate you joining us. For U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson, I'm Alex Gould and our terrific crew. We say so long from Spokane. We will see you tomorrow.
This is the way it's gonna be. Just you and me, so hold on tight. Yeah, this time is mine. Come join the ride. Be Bucky, I'll be you. Behold
in Cameroon. But again, we appreciate you joining us. I know these women out on the pitch appreciate you joining us. For U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shelby Pruitt-Johnson, I'm Alex Gould and our terrific crew. We say so long from Spokane. We will see you tomorrow.